As Trent Frederic played his last game in a Bruins jersey, Matthew Poitras goes down, but this time he gets back up. Merkulov is called up, and we're only 1 week away from the NHL trade deadline, and the Bruins are 100% sellers this year. So buckle up, Bruins fans. I'm here to give you the latest info on your beloved Boston Bruins. If you've been liking my Bruins content, please leave me a like and subscribe. If you've already done so, thank you, and let's get into it. It was only a couple games ago when we saw Trent Frederic go down with an injury. When we saw it, some in the fan base hoped the best for him, and some were concerned the Bruins wouldn't be able to trade him now, and they would lose him for nothing. I was somewhere in the middle myself where I don't ever want to see a player get injured, but I also thought, if you know you're trading him, why is he even in the lineup? His value isn't going to suddenly increase, and you can only go down. If you asked me a couple months ago, I would have said the Bruins could maybe get a first for Frederic, giving his style of play and teams overpaying for a guy like that at the deadline. Now I say they will almost certainly get a second-round pick for him, or a hockey trade. A contending team trading away a guy who doesn't fit in their team, but also has some potential. That's the hockey trade. If you thought I just described Trent Frederic, though, I'd agree with you there too. I have nothing against the kid, and I think he's a decent player, but I also think we'll never see him in a Bruins jersey again. Frederic is listed week to week according to the Bruins, but according to NHL insider Chris Johnston, Trent Frederic is considered week to week after leaving Tuesday's Bruins game with a lower body injury. But the sense is that it won't change any plans ahead of the trade deadline. The pending UFA could still be moved. Frederic has been seen walking in a boot, but the rumor is the injury isn't serious and he'll be back before the playoffs. Any team looking for some toughness is going to want to see his medical records first, but I don't think teams will not trade for him now. Sweeney has already said, unless things change, he's moving on from his UFAs, and Frederic is at the top of that list. I said it before, Frederic has a lot of potential, but I think what's best for him is a change of scenery. There's no doubt in my mind he wants to test the market, which is his right, and frankly, the smart thing to do for a player of his age. According to Dave Pagnotta of the fourth period, the Canucks, Capitals, and Wild are teams reportedly linked to Frederic. Of course the Canucks are. They have so many players from the Bruins last season already on their roster. Vancouver is in a tight race to make the playoffs, so maybe they think Frederic can help them in their bottom six and provide some size and toughness their team desperately needs. All those teams I've mentioned have a second round pick, and Washington has 2 of them. Minnesota, on the other hand, doesn't have a pick in the first round, which makes them trade away their second, a tough decision for them. If one of these 3 teams are the team that he's going to, I'm not saying that to be a fact. I would just say I hope it's Vancouver because they will finish lower in the standings than Minnesota or Washington. Funny story is, though, Washington has the Bruins' second round pick in this year's draft, so maybe the Bruins can convince them to give it back for Frederic. The Bruins gave them that pick for Garnet Hathaway back in 2023. I know I've seen a lot of comments of people very much annoyed the Bruins are moving on from Frederic because, well, he punches people in the face. What else does he bring, though? Seriously, I'm asking you, because the Bruins got a lot tougher this offseason, and the results this year have shown it was a bad decision. The Bruins may be up there in body checks, penalty minutes, but they're also one of the worst goal differentials in the league, were special teams and poised to not make the playoffs. I'm all for tough, but they went a little too far this year. They have Mark Kastelik that can be tough for now because Frederic and even Brazeau, for all that matter, haven't really been tough all year. Neither has been a net front presence the Bruins have needed, and neither has been that power forward the Bruins organization thought they had. I hope Frederic the best, and truly thought he would have a breakout year this year. Now, Brazeau is another name bouncing around, and the Bruins most likely will get a 3rd round pick and maybe a 3rd and a 5th round pick for him. I don't think the Bruins get anything higher than that for him. It's been reported the Bruins and Brazeau are far apart on any extension, which tells me he's going to be dealt as well. I've said it before, the rumors are Edmonton, and most likely that's where he goes. These 2 guys I mentioned I think are guaranteed to be moved by Friday, March 7th, so thank you for your time here in Boston, boys, but now I'm hoping the Bruins just get something for you. On another note, Matthew Poitras took from what would be a routine hit from the other night that turned out to scare us all, including himself. In a game against the Islanders, Matthew Poitras took a hit from Brock Nelson into the boards near the Islanders' bench, but the door was open, and he could have been seriously injured. Now, Nelson was called for interference on the play, and I guess this is what you call, but I think you only call something because Poitras left the game. I thought it was an innocent play and an unfortunate accident, as there was an Islanders player coming to the bench for a change at the exact same time. The good news is Poitras was at practice the next day and is playing against Pittsburgh, and he's fine. Last year, though, most likely he gets injured on a play because he was undersized. He spent the summer getting a lot bigger and has shown this season he looks a lot stronger on his skates. The last thing I wanted to mention was Merkulov was called up again by the Boston Bruins, and my hope is they give him a chance to stick it out this time. Boston recalled forwards Georgi Merkulov, Jeffrey Vial, and defenseman Ian Mitchell from the AHL Providence on Friday. it was announced by general manager Don Sweeney. The Bruins needed to make room for the moves and assigned forwards Riley Tufte and Oliver Wahlstrom and defenseman Michael Callahan to Providence. Wahlstrom was put on waivers and to no surprise was not claimed by any team because so far as a Bruin, he has struggled to find his game. Merkulov, 24, will get another crack at the NHL, having already appeared in 3 games this season with the Bruins. Providence has primarily been his home over the last 3 years, where he skated in 189 career games and notched 68 goals and 101 assists for 169 points. Merkulov, for me, is a guy I thought might make the team out of camp and has played consistently well in Providence, and I thought looked good in the 3 games he played in the Bruins this season. With the players I mentioned before most likely being traded, it's a huge opportunity for Merkulov to find his game and show he can stay in the NHL. That's a wrap on today's video. To stay up to date on all news surrounding the Boston Bruins, please subscribe and drop me a like. If news breaks surrounding the Boston Bruins, be sure to check out the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you, and I'll see you next time.